This custom 2025 Newell coach has what I believe is the best floor plan in the motor coach industry. And today we're with Brian Pitts from Newell Coach. How you doing today, sir?
Great, how are you?
Excellent, thank you. And even better when I saw the interior of this custom Newell coach. What is the story on this coach, sir?
So this is a customer that I worked with for a long time. We spent several years doing the research and the homework to get this thing together, and we are a week and a half away from delivering it to them. We just caught it in time to be able to show it off before they come and get it.
Well, we're excited for this opportunity, and the viewers are going to want to watch this entire video because you have a wealth of knowledge to share. And I was just asking you how long you've been in the motor coach industry. Did you say 37 years? How many years?
36, yeah, it's been 36 years.
So this isn't your first rodeo, and you've got a lot of information to share with us, but what is the story on this coach?
This one is obviously it's a brand new build that we did for a couple that is in a heavy construction business. They put a ton of thought into it, sent us lots of pictures, ideas, and inspirations from literally everything from boats to houses to jets. We just slowly built a file, and when it was time, they came in and we put it together in this coach for them.
This exterior paint job is also very striking. What is going on the exterior of this coach?
So they worked with Ryan Laux on this paint job, and they wanted something that was classic, something that's not going to look dated after a while. And they like a lot of detail. I know it's probably hard to see with the sunlight right where it is, but there's a ton of ghosting in the paint job here. We got some great drop shadows on the stripes, and I think it's a really classic mix of colors here. It's not something you're going to get tired of quickly.
Well, absolutely, and in the different angles of the sunlight, it really pops in certain angles, but like you said, a very timeless, classy design. Now, we've got a lot to cover on the interior of this coach, but I also want to leave a link to a video going in depth on the exterior of the Newell coach. And one of my favorite videos is one we did back in 21 on a 22 Newell coach, where you talked a lot about the history of Newell coach and the advantages of Newell coach. I'm going to leave that video in the description below if you want to see Brian and I about 3 or 4 years ago showing off one of their cool coaches back then. I say we go right to the really good stuff on this one.
That sounds great.
Awesome. Brian, this interior is incredible. The team at Newell Coach never ceases to amaze me, but what's going on inside of this coach?
This client, good friend of mine, we've been working on this for several years. This is the culmination of a lot of exchange of photos and so on, and they wanted a coach to feel like a high-end spa, and that's what we did for them. We brought the modern interior with a lot of warm touches like the wood trim and that sort of thing, and I think it really came off well.
Absolutely, and there's something up front that I don't think I've seen yet on these captain's chairs here. It's got almost more of a gray color leather with the double stitching, and I don't know if I've seen this color combination with the white and gray, but it really ties in together.
You've got to be super careful using gray like that, so it doesn't end up looking like a battleship on the inside, but mixed correctly with other colors, it's an awesome accent piece. And all of this stuff is custom, the diamond patterning, how many rows of stitching, do you want it in contrast or the same color? All of that stuff are things that you pick out with decor as you're ordering the coach.
Incredible detailing with the double stitching and the perforated leather and then the gray piping. But I'm also noticing some more wood grain finishes in the cockpit area. And what's all new in 2025 here?
Well, a lot of that stuff though is a customer preference thing. I'm a carbon fiber guy. I love it in every color and texture, but a lot of our customers are like, I want something that's a little warmer than that. So this is part of what you pick out when you're ordering the coach is what do I want my dash to look like? And I have to admit that's pretty darn classy looking.
Definitely ties in together that spa feel and then the ergonomics of the Newell coach cockpit. I had a chance to drive a late model Newell recently, and just the visibility, everything is so easy to read, easy to get to. You're not fumbling around. It was just very user friendly.
But when we originally designed that dash, we built a mock-up out of plywood and we put it by a window in the shop so that we could simulate the different angles that sunlight would come from. And also, we had employees from 5'4" to 6'4" sit there and say, okay, how does this angle work for you in this sunlight. And we adjusted everything until we came up with as close to perfect as you could get for different body sizes. This is the result of that. Everything surrounds you and it's right there where you need it to be intuitively.
Yeah, just the ease of, adjusting the steering wheel. And I really like how that steering wheel automatically adjusts when you start the engine and when you turn off the engine to make exiting and entering easier. And then all the cameras, so many different views with the fuel door camera.
Got the two on the roof too. So it has one facing aft and one facing fore that tells you if you're going to clear that tree limb you're concerned about, which I love.
Is that standard or is that an option on every Newell coach, or how does that work?
I think that's an option, but I've seen it on every one we've built lately, so I would imagine it'll be standard here pretty soon.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense to just have an extra camera up there for that peace of mind. Now, what else is going on in this particular coach here?
One of the things that we've been doing a lot lately that I really like is check these out. You've got armrests on your couch, but that makes for a shorter couch. So they came up with the idea to make them removable. So when you want to lie down on the couch, you have room to do so, but you still have your cup holders and armrests when you need that. I think that's really cool.
Yes, sir, and I like the Newell logo in the cup holder there, all those subtle details.
Yeah. So our CNC shop cuts out a lot of really cool stuff for us like that. These Himola recliners over here are so comfortable. Like, they're small, they're kind of compact, but as you need them to actually be a recliner, and then the whole thing lays out nearly flat. It's super comfortable. I've put the driver's console here in between them so you have a place to put your drinks. Got chargers for your cell phones and all of that. Then another thing we've been doing a lot that people really like is it gets a little crowded if you do a regular face-to-face dinette here, especially in this floor plan, and two recliners. These chairs allow you to kind of use how you're apportioning the space. So when you're not eating, you can just scoot these out of the way and you have tons of room for the recliner. And then same way when it's dinner time, you have plenty of room for the chairs.
Very heavy duty, high-end chairs. If these were in a furniture store, I would assume these would be thousands and thousands of dollars per chair to get that level. And I love the decor that they have the coach staged with right now. Does that come with the coach for the original owner?
It does. Sometimes the client's involved in that and they say, I want this, this, and this in my coach. Most of the time, though, they get Amber and Sydney to decorate the coach. And then if there's something we don't like, we have a storeroom full of decor items. We can switch this and that out for the other thing. But they usually stage them because we don't want the client coming into a bare bones coach. We want it to look warm and inviting and ready to go. So that's what we do.
I believe Newell provides all of the bedding for all the different beds in the coach.
It's all custom made to customer specifications, all of it.
I'm noticing a TV in the slide room. Is that an option or is that normal?
It's really kind of a floor plan thing more than anything else. I would say we probably do it 1 out of 4 coaches. If you're sitting here, in this case, there's just the 2 televisions here. There's the big 55-inch in the front overhead and this one here. So it's limited on the number of angles that you have at the television. They did have us wire this coach with the wiring for a lift over here behind the couch in case they wanted to put that in. It gets a little snug with, these are 30-inch deep slides. So when you pull those in, you've got a really nice walkway right now. But if we put a television lift back there, it gets a little snug. So they're waiting to see how much their grandkids travel with them before they make the decision on for sure wanting that back there. But we wired it. It's ready to go. It'll be a fairly easy modification.
What else is going on in this coach?
To me, this is like the prototypical Newell owner here. This couple built a heavy construction business from nothing. They've got a who's who of American companies as clients. They do all manner of hauling and heavy construction work and so on. His thing from the beginning was he likes how we do business. We're here in America. The owner of the company is right over there in that building. You can go talk to him anytime you need to. You're not strung out over some globally owned corporation. It's all right here in the United States. It's a huge, huge deal to guys who have built their companies like that to do business with a company company that is fully invested in the United States.
And on that note, at this level, what is the price of this coach?
This coach came out just a click under 2.7 million. I actually just went through the paperwork. We're delivering it next week. So I just went through the paperwork. I've got that one fresh.
So at 2.7 million, they can buy any motor coach in the world. Yeah. And obviously being right here in the center of the USA is a huge selling point for many. But what are some of the other reasons that someone that can choose any motor coach in the world chooses to go with Newell Coach?
A big thing here was they had very specific requirements in mind. We need to be able to do this, this, and this with our coach. And we're the only ones that build a chassis that'll do it. There's nothing you can buy from an off-the-shelf chassis manufacturer that we would be able to build this floor plan in. We're going to walk on back here in a minute and you'll see what I'm talking about. This is a 4-year project. We've been talking about this for a long time, and they were like, we need to be able to be very comfortable when it's just the two of us. We need to be very comfortable when we have our grandchildren along. We want to be able to cook on board the coach. I mean, as the list piled up, it was pretty obvious we're the only people in the industry who can build what they wanted.
And just this floor plan, I mentioned earlier, this is my favorite floor plan. I don't think there's a better floor plan in the industry. But what are some of the other reasons that these owners chose Newell Coach?
A huge part of it was we project service right to where they are. He's not retired. He's still working. They're both very active in the company, and they don't have time to run out here for service. So we've invested in a massive amount of money projecting service to where the clients are so that they don't have to come to Miami, Oklahoma to get their coach worked on. That was a huge thing. And it was something that he didn't just take our word on. I was like, call the service shop and tell them where you are and tell them what you've got. And those guys were like, oh, we've got somebody right down the road that can work on this, that, or the other thing. And then, they go to Florida in the winter like a lot of us do. We have the guys down there. We rent a house for them. They're down there taking care of people all winter long. Same thing in elsewhere, seasonally appropriate. That was a huge deal for them, knowing that they don't have to take a week off of their life to come out here to Newell to get their coach worked on.
We know service is extremely important. This is a very complex machine, so having that support to keep everything going. And on that note, I've got to mention the 24/7 customer service hotline that Newell Coach has. Yeah. That's another incredible resource as well.
It's a big deal for me. I travel a lot too. I'm about 4 months a year on the road. Basic hand tools, basic mechanical knowledge, but that put together with these guys on the other end of it, I don't get in trouble very often.
It definitely makes life easier.
Oh,
yes,
sure.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, so coming back to this coach, this ceiling is really catching my eye. Like you said, very spa-like feeling. What else is going on in this coach?
What's funny about this coach is they've ordered this months and months ago. We've got a large backlog. This coach was coming together while my wife and I were speccing out our home. I mean, everything was just like, we love that, and we were kind of feeding off of each other on it. And these wood tones, these other colors in here, if you go through my house, you would recognize this because we were just so fired up about how this coach was coming together. I love this. And I'm not a gray guy. Like I don't normally look at gray and go, that's a color I like, but it worked so well in here. The clients worked with Sydney and Amber putting this thing together, and it requires a little bit of faith because you're looking at samples like so and envisioning it on a whole coach. I went through the coach order before we started talking, and there's like 17 pages of sketches and samples. This goes to this and this goes to that. So, you end up with a comfort level that's way up there because they've sketched out what it's going to look like when it's finished. Pictures, of course, that we've exchanged over Pinterest. We really like this style of furniture and so on. The whole time, my wife Lisa and I, we were like, ooh, that's a hit. That looks so good right there.
As soon as I walked into this coach, it definitely is a hit. And with this floor plan, but one other thing, so you were mentioning the grays and these countertops, it's not quite a concrete because there's more of a stone texture to it.
So in this case, we have to be very particular on the material because this has the cooktop that cooks through. It's got to be something that will translate the heat. It's a magnetic cook through there.
This is new technology that we've only seen in a couple coaches, but for some of the folks out there that haven't heard about this yet, can you explain how now this is basically a cooktop as well?
So basically it's an induction cooktop. It's got these little rubber mats that you can place on there if you're in the middle of a lot of cooking. That'll help you locate the burners very quickly. And you can just place the pans right. You don't have to, but you can place the pans right down on it.
And then the controls are right here.
You pick the burner and the temperature level and turn it on, and you're cooking.
And I can see they've already got some high-end silverware in the coach with these silverware dividers. And what a great way to free up countertop space and really utilize the technology to free up space. And then, of course, that Brew Express coffee pot. If it's not broke, don't fix it, right?
That's right. It works.
Yes, sir.
It just works.
Yes, sir.
We when we take a coach out to go to a show or an event or something, that's usually one of the first questions is, what do we have for a coffee pot in that thing? And so that means you're handled. You can do K-cups in it. You can brew whole pots of coffee. You can just do a cup of coffee, and it's autofill, so it's no muss. You just push the button, it fills it, and you're off.
Yeah, we need our caffeine.
Absolutely.
So that's
crucial.
Very important. Just so many cool colors that tie together well with the two-tone with the lighter cabinets up top, and then the more grayer and almost like a concrete style sink. And then these cabinets, just a really cool design.
The guts it takes to mix that many textures in one area just blows me away, but it works. I mean, over and over again, I'm like, wow, that's a lot going on in there. And then I see the finished product and I'm like, there, you've done it again. You know, they're next level talented. Those girls are next level.
Yeah, absolutely. No question about that. And then is there a dishwasher in this coach?
Yeah, this is a little different than what we usually do. This is a Miele dishwasher. You're used to seeing the Fisher Paykel's that we do and everything. These are a little larger. I think typically it goes down to if a client's going to use a dishwasher a lot of us put a dishwasher in as a placeholder. Well, I'm going to need it for resale. So the Fisher Paykel's a nice efficient unit that just fits in there. This one tends to be for people who are like, I am going to wash dishes in this coach. The other thing it's handy for, this is a 6-foot galley. A lot of our coaches have a longer galley, but again, we have 2 full bathrooms and bunk beds. So, you know, the space has got to come from somewhere. In a 6-foot galley, this unit at 16 inches wide is a lot easier to fit in than that wide Fisher Paykel. It gives you room for more storage space on both sides.
Well, and one of the big advantages of Newell coach is because you have so much headroom and so much height in the slide room that you've got that extra room for storage where that really frees up space to be able to do something like this and make it all flow together.
When you're talking about cubic footage in a coach, which we don't talk about square footage much in our industry. We don't mention cubic footage at all. It's probably not something people want to know, but when you're talking about cubic footage, this is the king. Well, your living area is larger in this than anything. It is the king of cubic footage.
The Newell coach has the most headroom in the Class A industry, hands down. What's the height of the ceilings here?
It's somewhat ceiling design dependent. Okay. Different designs will change it, but you can generally count on 7.5 feet. And I'm 6'2", and I'm standing under a slide header with plenty of room to spare.
Yeah, so for taller folks, there's a lot of folks that really go for the Newell coaches just for that headroom.
Yeah.
But even for folks that aren't as tall, I'd rather have taller ceilings as well. It just opens it up.
Bigger. Yeah. Absolutely,
yes, sir.
If you're spending a lot of time in one, having all of this space and these huge windows, it cuts down on the claustrophobia quotient like radically.
Absolutely.
You can spend some time in this thing without getting stir crazy.
Well, and they're so big, when you throw the blinds down, you forget you're in a motorhome.
Sure,
it does not feel like a motorhome at all.
500 square foot apartment.
And because it's such a heavy duty build, you know, when I jump up and down, this coach is not budging. This has an air suspension where it does not have leveling jacks. Yeah. And we don't talk about that very often, but what's the leveling system in this coach?
So years ago, and I mean decades ago, they got too heavy for leveling jacks.
Yeah.
You could lift them, but if you're not on reinforced concrete, it's going through the surface. And then you're out there trying to dig it out of the blacktop or whatever you put them down on. It happened often enough with big coaches that we just said, you know what, we're going to level with airbags. All the mechanisms are there already. You need those to maintain ride height while you're going down the road. So it made perfect sense, and it's so much easier. I mean, auto, and you're done. And then we also built into that multifunction panel up there in the front, we built in the ability to lift the entire coach if you need to get over, say, a railroad crossing that you're a little worried about dragging on, or you can lower the entire coach. You have about 8 inches of travel up top to bottom on that. So if you're pulling into a fuel stop and your camera's up there, say you're almost going to clear, you can drop that thing 4 inches and just ease on in there, and then once you go out the other side, it comes back up to ride height. We have another thing called Smart Ride, which is a big deal. The bags are fully inflated during normal travel. Once you get to 55 miles per hour, it lets some pressure out of the bags and you lower about 2 inches and improve the ride quality massively. And all of that is because all of that technology is there already. It's just a matter of harvesting what it can do, and that's what we've done.
Well, and when we talked about those roof cameras earlier, I was thinking about tree branches, but if you're going under a bridge or something where it's just a little bit closer, being able to drop the coach a few inches and being able to actually see from that camera is a lot
more comfortable.
Yeah, that'll save you a lot of stress. Newell seems to be really thinking of all kinds of creature comforts that are really keeping the end user in mind.
It's not just us. A lot of it's our clients saying, you know what would be cool? And what's neat about that is when they say that, we can do something about it because we build the whole thing. So when they say, I went underneath a railroad trestle and I was like, man, I don't know if I'm going to clear. I was going to sacrifice my front air conditioner to see if I'll fit. Well, we're like, we can do better than that. Why don't we put a camera on there? And that's how it came about.
I've met some of the Newell coach owners there that are a little bit A personality or maybe AAA personalities that want their cake and ice cream and everything else. Right. And I can only imagine the types of ideas they bring to you and their expectations at this level.
And at this level, they deserve it.
This is the top of the food chain, so absolutely. Now in the galley, I haven't seen a refrigerator yet, and it's almost hidden here with this bulkhead wall.
We did hide it pretty well in here. It looks like furniture. This is a high-end GE. It's a monogram. We love this refrigerator. It does a lot of things right. Ice drawer is right here at waist height. When you want to get ice, you don't have to bend all the way down to the bottom. This drawer is adjustable, so it's set on freezer right now, so it's on 0 degrees, but you can turn it up and use it as a crisper drawer. It's got a wine chiller setting, so really however you want to use it there. We love the hinges, very robust. The coach obviously goes down some pretty sketchy roads, potholes and so on. It's nice not to have to constantly adjust it to keep it going. And then another thing we've done just recently, we've always done snap catches to hold these closed, but they do require a little bit harder of a pull to open them. So we've done magnetic latches on these. When you cycle the ignition, you hear click, 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 and they lock all of these closed. If you want to open it, there's an override on the panel right up here. You can touch that and open the door. That's been awesome because you don't have to fight against the snap catches and you don't have to remember to put a pin or a latch or whatever because you're going to forget that every time.
Yeah, you're not worrying about all of your refrigerator contents going down the road when you make a left turn.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then across from the refrigerator, everything just flows so well into the middle of the coach, but it looks like we've got some more storage. It's almost hidden there.
Yeah, this is where they put the pantry. They wanted it obviously to be very close to the dining area, so this is where we put the pantry for the coach.
But now we've got to show off this accent door here. So we're going to close off this door, and usually that would probably stay open, but if you do want to section off the coach, if you've got guests or something, what a cool accent door.
Aesthetically, obviously, it's nice to look at, but people who are traveling with small kids, it's super nice to be able to come up front, have coffee, watch television in the morning without waking up the little ones there in the center. So we put a divider on both sides of the bunk room, in the bathroom too, so you can section off the entire thing however it needs to be.
In Newell fashion, if you're going to put a divider, don't just have it be one color. Let's throw a crazy accent wall in there too. Really that almost modern minimalistic spa feel. Do you think that'd be a good way to describe this coach?
That's perfect, actually. That's exactly how I would describe it.
Yes, sir. Well, let's show the folks why I think this is the best floor plan here.
This is one of the things that drew this client to us. They're going to travel with their grandchildren, some, not always, but some. So this bunk system, the top bunk folds up and locks into the wall. There's doors to close it off so that they can use it as closets. There's drawers down here underneath, so when the kids are with them, they have a place to keep their stuff. It's kind of a perfect dual use space. They can use it as closets when just the two of them are traveling, but when the kids come, they've got the sleeping area for them.
Beautiful bedding here in the bunks as well. Even an accent wall, I would call it,
Sure.
behind the bunks. I mean, who else is going over the top in the bunks where the kids are sleeping? Newell's not skipping any details. And then, I think just having a large open storage space, you don't know what type of stuff you're bringing along. Sometimes you may need just a big, large open space for storage. So I think the versatility of this floor plan with having bunks or a very large open storage area just really makes sense. And then this is a 2 full bathroom coach. Now, how many 2 full bathroom coaches is Newell doing every year?
As a wild guess, I would say, we build 26 coaches a year. I bet 4 of them. Are this way. And during COVID, when the schools were closed, when I went to Florida for the winter, my wife and children came with me. This is a killer floor plan for a family. You want to go out to dinner? I've got daughters, so it takes a while. Having 2 bathrooms for everybody to get ready in, cut down the get ready time from 2.5 hours to 45 minutes kind of deal. It was perfect. There was enough room. The kids had their own personal space that they could go to. They had plenty of room to do schoolwork. The coach was huge. We had our dogs with us. I mean, it was awesome. It was like just living in a smaller house.
Yes, sir. Well, and even the second shower, I've got to try this out for size. This is such a cool accent wall. I don't even know how to explain this tile. This gray tile has such a cool pattern on it. You've got plenty of headroom, plenty of space for even a bigger guy in the second shower. Then, of course, an underlit countertop. That's not a cheap option, I would bet.
Yeah, no, they're proud of that.
Yeah.
And we've done it all through the back of the coach. It just, at night, you've got an accent light master. So at night, you can turn off the main lights and just turn on the accent lights, dim them a little if you want to. It looks killer in here. This beautiful glow off of everything. No direct lights necessarily, just this beautiful glow off of things. It looks so good.
Does this have the romance setting where it'll throw on a little Barry White for you on the accent lights?
Bottle of champagne.
Exactly, yes, sir. I see a towel bar here in the mid bathroom. Is this a heated towel bar as well?
Yeah, a nice setup to keep you from having towel hooks hanging everywhere and that sort of thing. We do a lot of heated towel bars.
In colder weather, that definitely comes in handy.
Towel when you get out of the shower is not bad.
Yes, sir. Now, heated towel bars, but does this also have heated floors?
Always, yeah. All of the entire floor, front to back, in this coach is heated.
Even on the slide rooms?
Absolutely.
Wow, that really comes in handy so that you're not maybe stepping on one cold tile and one warm tile. That's got to be really nice. And again, just this accent wall in this bathroom, and then the different style tiles here. Just so many cool finishes. The owners of this coach just knocked it out of the park with the design spec on this.
And the fun part, they haven't seen it. We send pictures through the construction process, but it stops when it goes to paint because we want the big reveal. So they have an idea, but they haven't seen it finished. When we do the delivery, we have our meeting in the delivery room with the department heads and so on, and then we come out and it's the big reveal, and it's my favorite part.
We're honored to be able to get a sneak preview ahead of the owners. Now, this video is going to go live after the owners take delivery. Sure. This is an incredible opportunity to be able to see this. We really appreciate it. But I think we've got some really cool stuff going on back here. They did not hold back on the underlit countertops in this coach.
Yeah. It just makes the coach feel so warm inside. When you're doing a modern interior, it's important to bring those elements of warmth back in it, and that does a great job of it. It's just a nice warm glow to the room.
And then a fixed TV here in the bedroom is kind of getting in the way of the window view. Yeah. That's something that these owners chose.
And it's a fairly common statement. I'll have people say, oh, I never raised the shades in the bedroom anyway, which is kind of a shame because the windows are huge and they look great back here, but I also get it.
It's more of a private area.
Yeah, exactly. And then with the television up here, it leaves us lots of storage room in here. Like these closets here are really nice. There's drawers underneath, 2 drawers. These are really great size here. There's 4 of these. All of that storage space is going to come in pretty important.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like to point out the downlit hanging bars. I see outlets in the closets.
Some people like to put their stick vac like a, you know, a Dyson or something like that. So we'll often wire the closets so there's a place to charge those.
So much indirect lighting in front of the slide room faces, and then bright lighting here in the slide room, and the underlit countertops. That's just over the top. Do you know like how expensive? You said this was pushing on 2.7.
Yeah.
Is that like an a la carte thing when they start getting? Because I know. I mean, some of these stones are like 20 grand just for a countertop.
This coach has got close to $50,000 worth of underlit countertops in it. Yeah.
Wow. When you have your nightstands as underlit countertops as well, they can get pretty expensive, I can imagine.
No doubt.
But I see some storage overhead here as well.
So one of the things that they were thinking here, you know, in addition to having the nice storage, they had us wire it for a future projection system. That's a lot of what this cabinet is here for. That way, if a future owner, or even if this owner decides, you know, that television was a mistake, we'd rather have a projection system, which you've seen, we do a ton of those here. That's an option without completely disassembling the bedroom to run new wiring and everything. It's already ready to go there.
Yeah, Newell's always thinking ahead of, you know, resale value on these coaches. I don't think this coach is going to have a tough time with resale value with this design spec. So is this a king size bed or?
So the interesting thing about what we do with these beds, this is another client idea. We make these beds retractable. When the slides are in, or even sometimes when I'm just showing the coach and I need the extra room, you push a button, this portion of the mattress that's underneath the pillows here is hinged. It flips up, the entire bed base retracts into the wall, and it gives you a lot more room to operate over here. Depending on the depth of the drawers over there, there's even room to get by the bed with the slides closed without having to do the, you know, the crawl over thing. And it's one of the things I forget to do quite a bit when I'm showing the coaches, but people will go, oh, this coach is for short people. And I'm like, oh, well, hang on. And then I push the button and out she comes. And then, yes, you have a king size bed.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So a lot of versatility here. And again, the bedding that the design team uses, I'm just so impressed with every square inch of this coach.
Every single piece of this was a client choice. I want some color here. Well, we start pulling fabric samples until she goes, oh, that's it right there. And they've got a little bit more of a rustic taste, you know, a modern coach with a little bit of rustic feel for it. So we had these custom made rugs for the coach and all of this bedding and everything, which I think really warms it up for a modern feeling coach.
And the way they tied in the exterior colors and the interior colors, I could tell they do their homework and they've got some cool style for sure.
They put some effort into it.
Yes, sir. Now, is there storage underneath the bed at all?
Definitely. One of the things that we've noticed is these are really heavy. Rather than have to have two people lift it, we made it motorized. So you just push the button on the wall here, it raises it right up, and you have access to all the storage underneath it.
Yeah, almost like a hidden compartment,
right,
and then a safe hidden down there, and I see those extensions for the dinette.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a really nice place. I use it mostly when I'm traveling because I'm kind of in and out of I put my suitcases under there.
You can still show the coach and
sure, yeah, it looks like nobody's in it, but that's where all my stuff is.
Oh, very cool.
The other thing that we motorized was the extension and retraction of the bed base, which as we mentioned, gives you a lot more room in here. So that works like this. You gain about 12 inches of mattress here, which makes a huge difference in what we can do in this room. You know, look how much farther that's come out there. So if that weren't there, so when it's bedtime, this just folds down into the hole, and that's where the pillows go. Even
with the bed being fully extended here, I'm sure it shortens up a lot when the slide rooms come in, but you still have 4 or 5 feet from the foot of your bed.
Room here. It's mostly for when the slides are retracted. That's the big deal. It gives us room. We saw how deep those drawers are. That's not possible if the bed's not retracted. And then if it's important to the client to be able to get around the bed without having to crawl over, this gives us the ability to do so and still maintain large slides.
And with the second shower in the middle of the coach, they wouldn't always even need to go back there to shower. You can still take a shower without climbing over the bed.
Sure.
So, man, this is a great floor plan. Now, before we go into the bathroom, I know there's probably another accent wall here, so I've got to close this bathroom door here. And I really like that modern minimalistic. I don't want to touch it, but I don't know if it's a suede or a leather. It's like almost rustic. Do you know what type of material that is?
You know, the only thing I am sure of, our decor department is way out ahead of the game. So whatever it is state of the art.
Yes, sir. When you're dropping over 50 grand on countertops, you're probably not skimping on those little details. But I'm excited to see this rear bathroom. Even with all of the coach we've already seen, we've still got a lot more. Talk about a spa-like feel. Just incredible.
These little river rocks that they put around the side of it here, I think that is so cool.
This wall, I've never seen a wall like that.
I remember them calling it some kind of stacked rock. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a stacked rock look, and I think it's just so cool looking.
Well, then another heated towel bar and another underlit countertop. Sure. Just so many cool details that just take it to the next level. And then even the style of this light that's like wrapped in a leather with the stitching, just
isn't that cool?
Over the top. And this is a 2 full bathroom coach. We're 2 pretty big guys back here, and we're still standing comfortably. You know, I can move around. Yeah. Eli, if you want to jump in here just to see the shower, Brian, can you give us a shower test? Because that's
absolutely.
Man, that is a great looking shower.
So we did this one. It's got this wood feel tile on it here, which is part of the spa thing that we were going for. It's got backlighting in the shower caddy here, which makes it glow really nicely. It's got a really nice seat here. And then, of course, the rainfall head. It's going to have a handheld, but we don't do that until the client gets here because there's only one shot at getting that positioned correctly. So there will be a handheld unit up there too.
I think there's enough space back there. A couple could probably comfortably shower at the same time. Yeah. And I love the way that tile matches the wood ceilings that we saw on the rest of the coach. Just really flows together so well.
Beautiful finishes. They did such a nice job.
Washer dryer in this coach?
Absolutely. So that's here. And as always, it has our retractable doors, so it's easy to get to when you're doing laundry.
I've never seen this floor plan with the washer dryer on this side in front of the shower, but really makes sense, the whole flow of this coach. And then more closet space back there?
Yeah, so we've got quite a bit more closet back here in the back too. Cedar lined, really nice drawer underneath. Lighted closet rods, so it's easier to see in here.
Brian, I greatly appreciate you showing us around this incredible coach, and a huge congratulations to the owners that spec'd it. They knocked it out of the park. Now, if someone wants to custom build a new Newell coach, what is the lead time, and then what is the pre-owned inventory if someone wants to purchase a pre-owned Newell coach?
The lead time fluctuates quite a bit depending on what time of the year it is. Obviously, in the winter time, we're super busy. We're on the road a lot. We get 2.5 years out. We catch up some through the rest of the year. I would say we're a little over 1.5 years out right now. Pre-owned coaches on the ground, we're in great shape. Half a dozen coaches that are within 2 years old, less than 20,000 miles. Awesome stuff. I mean, they are super solid, perfectly maintained, stored inside, covered under our warranty, of course. Somebody needed to get their hands on one right away, we've got it.
What is the pre-owned Newell coach warranty?
The warranty is, of course, any coach that we sell here at the factory, it's within 8 years of current production. So this is a 2025 model. 2017s and newer are covered under our warranty. It's 2 years and 24,000 miles, and it's not a gotcha warranty. It's if it breaks, we're going to fix it. There's a list of exclusions. It's things you would expect, wear items, you know, that kind of thing. If you crash it, that sort of thing. But it's covered. You know, it's not a gotcha warranty. You call us wherever you are. We'll find somebody to fix it for you, and we'll pay them.
That's an incredible value to get a 2-year warranty on a pre-owned coach. I don't know anybody in the industry that's doing that. And of course, I know these coaches, when they come back to the factory, they're going through an extensive PDI process before the new owners take delivery. So I think going through that PDI process makes it possible for you guys to have that warranty.
The delivery itself is pretty important too. You know, these are guys that worked in the factory when the coaches were being built, and so they're the ones showing you how to use it. That's a huge deal too. With shop rates running between $175 and $250 an hour out on the road, if you have a problem and you're not covered by a factory warranty, that could get ugly really fast.
No doubt about that. Now, I've got to ask you one of the hard questions that I read the comments. I know you read the comments. And a recent comment said, you know, why would there be so many late model pre-owned Newells? You know, 6 is a pretty big number of late model Newell coaches. What are some of the reasons for late model Newell coaches coming back onto the market?
That's a great question, and I like how you didn't warn me about it. You just dropped, but it's something that's a super valid question. During COVID, a ton of new people dipped their toe into the motor coach market. You couldn't travel overseas, cruises were out, flights sucked. It was a perfect way to travel around the country. We sold, through the 4 years of COVID so far, 120 new coaches. Some of them, it wasn't what they thought. They didn't travel the way they thought they were going to. This is why we have, 2023 models with 6,000 miles on them coming in. They thought they were going to use the coach in a way that they didn't.
Well, and at this level, owners that have the means to buy this coach, they've got a lot of options and they're doing a lot of stuff. A lot of times they're gonna have houses all over the world. Sometimes it's like literally buying a pair of shoes for some of these people. So there's some super clean, very lightly used opportunities out there. And I think right now it's probably the best inventory I've seen in the last few years.
Absolutely.
So if someone wants to custom order a new Newell or purchase one of the pre-owned units, who can they get a hold of?
I would be happy to work with anybody who wanted to do that. My name is Brian Pitts. The best way to reach me is either by calling Newell Coach at 888-3-NEWELL, or my email address is brian@newellcoach.com.
Awesome, Brian. Well, thanks again for your time, sir. Appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Also appreciate all of you out there subscribing to the channel and liking these videos. We hope you're all having a great day.
Thank you.